Good morning, bonjour, maybe from some of us, and welcome to week 10 of the Tailgate, brought to you by campus2canton.com, helping you guys get ready for the whole slate of action here today on Saturday, November the 1st. We're almost to playoff time here. We're going to be talking playoffs on this show soon. Colin Decker, Chris Moxley here with me, Austin Nace. Good morning, gentlemen. We had some fun technical difficulties behind the scene this morning, but glad to see everybody's smiling faces and ready to talk some college football, I think.
I'm glad to see your smiling face too. I wasn't expecting such a nice compliment and a nice opening from you. I never get that, so it's nice. This is a good start to the morning.
I'm keeping you like off balance. I'm doing a thing. The right hook is coming in here eventually. Don't you worry, Colin.
Oh, it always does. It always does.
It's like when Ramsay helps Theon at the beginning of Game of Thrones.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Colin's my reek.
That's how it feels listening to Campus Life, by the way.
I got a compliment on this past week's show, and I thought I had a nice dig at Austin on it. So behind the scenes.
So you did. All right. Before we're going to talk rankings, we're going to talk Underdog, we're going to talk some betting, we're going to do some injury roundup, and of course we're going to get to your guys' start sits. So if you want to drop them in the chat here, go ahead, do that, and then when we get into the rankings here, we'll get to them. As always, we do start off with just some stuff that's already happened. We don't spend a ton of time on it. Shout out to Chris for calling North Carolina +3. They won 27-10 last night. I don't actually want to talk about that game, but ugh.
The one thing I'll say about it is you could say a lot of stuff about the North Carolina program, and a lot of people have said a lot of stuff about the North Carolina program. You can't say they've quit. They haven't quit. Those players are playing hard. They might not be good. They might not have personnel to run what they want to run, but they're playing hard. And that is a difference when you're playing a team like Syracuse who has no starting quarterback. So that's kind of the reality of the situation.
This isn't really fantasy related, but do you think Fran Brown blew that last night, deciding to put in that true freshman kid who can't play quarterback at all over Ricky Collins, who had been objectively not good, but I would wager better than that?
Yeah, the question I think comes down to is like, could you really roll Ricky out again? And just like you had to change something. I feel like even if the kid couldn't play, like I just didn't think you could roll him back out. Like I've never even heard of this Filardi kid, but like he was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough to go into your locker room, I think, and say, go with Ricky again, unless everybody and maybe all the kids of the team do know that this Filardi dude stinks, and maybe they're like, what are we doing here? But like I don't know. I understood why they went elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to think that the team would know that he stinks going up against him in practice all week. But, I mean, Syracuse's defense stinks, so maybe he looked good.
They're like, man, this kid can play. He definitely cannot.
Oh, wait, we're bad.
I think it makes – I don't know what they're going to decide to do next week. I don't know if you can do that again. I mean, I don't know what the other option is. I mean, you just kind of have to sit all your Syracuse guys at this point, right? Like, you can't start Darryl Gill. You can't start Jonte Cook. Can't even really start like Dan Villari at tight end. I mean, you just can't start any of these guys at this point, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't even start the running backs. Like, I thought Yassine Willis might be startable, but like, if the offense is so inept that they can't throw a forward pass, then like, kind of out of options here. Like, he had a Walker Eget stat line last night, 24 Walker Eget when he went like 4 for 22, like whatever. Filardi went like 4 for 18 or 4 for 19 or something. And that's, by the way, Egate did that in like some of the worst weather I've seen. Syracuse is in a dome. Like, he doesn't have that excuse. It was just bad football.
Do we see Dan Villari get some quarterback snaps again? Is that coming back?
I forgot they did the Wildcat with him. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Here's a question that I was thinking about when I saw the score this morning, then caught up a little bit on the game. Do you think this is hurting Fran Brown's like potential search for his next job? Because like we think he's getting one of the big player jobs, I think, eventually, right? Like I know his name has been around Penn State. I find it hard to believe that he's going to get the Penn State job, but is it hurting him? Because I kind of don't think it is. Like, you're looking at a team down 3 quarterbacks, but like, I don't know. Just asking. I'm just simply asking questions.
I don't think it's necessarily hurting him, but I don't think it's helping him to get one of like the bigger jobs that's open. You know,
it's not helping him getting blown out by 30 points every game.
Yeah, I think maybe if he wants to make a jump up, he'll have to take 1 step up the ladder instead of like 3.
What is the 1-step ladder job? Like Virginia Tech?
Yeah, although Franklin's reportedly connected to that. But yeah, I would think Virginia Tech would be a step up the ladder.
I think Franklin's like a done deal to Tech.
Sounds like it.
Good hire.
Yeah, that's a great hire for them.
I think this whole situation has shown why Fran Brown should not, in any reasonable timeline, be considered for a different job in the next several years. I think he's a very specific type of coach that's going to thrive being like a, very generous word, going to do his best work at a school that is about the size of Syracuse from a football perspective. I have serious doubts about his ability to move beyond. And I think that decision to start this true freshman kid last night, I think it's indefensible, actually, because there's no way that they didn't know that this was a pretty good chance of how this game was going to go. They scored 10 points last night. The only touchdown they scored was defensive on like one of the most hilarious, like yakety sacks background plays you'll ever see in your life. I mean, it's just, and I put that squarely on Fran Brown. And I just think he's proven this year that he's not that level of a coach today. Maybe he will be in the future. But he seems like a reclamation project, small school kind of guy that can find some of these guys that people have written off and turn them into something. But I just can't see anything beyond that in the next few years for him.
Do you think he's like essentially Deion, just like New York?
Fancy Deion? Yeah. Maybe.
He very similar styles of coaching, I think, of like motivation and like type of player I think that they're bringing into the program. Like, he took a shot at Jonte Cook when nobody wanted Jonte Cook and was like 5 minutes out of jail from potentially like ruining his life. And like, I think that means something, but like, you can't probably be doing that at a big job. Like, that can't be your like focus. Your focus is not like getting these kids heads on straight. It's like winning football games. Like, look at Kirby Smart. How many kids?
I was about to say Kirby actually wants the more deranged, the better. He's like, ooh, go on down, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one of the worst offensive performances I think I've seen this year. In two teams at the same level. I think the spread was 2.5. It closed 2.5. So like every time
it closed 1.5.
Oh yeah, it did close 1.5. You're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got it somewhere at 1.5, and I still, because I was late on your play, and I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna take this. I think UNC wins outright.
Every time they dropped back yesterday, negative 1.3 EPA per drop back. Every drop back was worth negative 1 point. That's hard. That's hard to do. That's 0 percentile, by the way. Like that's potentially the worst mark that's been posted this season. I would have to find if that's actually the case, but yeah.
I don't blame that freshman quarterback for that. Like, it's just, he shouldn't have been in that situation. Like, yes, he was bad, but I mean, I don't think that was the solution to the problem last night.
I never even heard of the kid.
I have never heard of him either. I'm part of the recruiting team here. We go pretty deep. There was not a kid that he's a lacrosse/football player. I don't even know. Next year he might just be a lacrosse player. I mean, let's just be honest based on what happened last night.
Never heard of the kid. Do y'all have any more thoughts on this game? Because I did want to touch briefly on one of the earlier games of the week.
Yeah, sure. Is it James Madison?
It wasn't James Madison.
Okay.
It was what happened in Tulane.
Oh, okay. Let's talk Tulane. That was an interesting one too. Yeah, UTSA came out, kind of took the belt to booty on Tulane there this week.
Lost by 22. I mean, Summerall's looking elsewhere, right? Like he was definitely interviewing back channels this week.
Oh,
like that's what happened.
Well, yes, probably.
Probably, but I think UTSA also, like, they haven't played that well this year, but like that was kind of the UTSA offense we were expecting all year, So
I saw UTSA fans saying they think McCown was not healthy at the beginning of the year, and he's healthier now. Could be valid.
Possible. He's playing pretty poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great game. Like he made. I think he had 2 incompletions and he attempted 30+ passes. Like that's really hard to do. I don't know. I thought Tulane's kind of fraudulent all year. Like they're good, but they're not great. Like their offense isn't very good. Like when you get never mind. I think Chargers were dropped. When you bring in Jake Retzlaff so late into the cycle in the process, like that's kind of what to expect. So I was surprised that they were 6-1 going into the game. But I do think this means UTSA players post bye week are startable moving forward. Like I have a lot of confidence in this offense for the rest of the season.
You're saying when you say UTSA starters, are we saying obviously McCown? We're saying Robert Henry, who hasn't been great the past few weeks, but you have to figure there's going to be some touchdown regression coming back.
I think so. So he has not scored a touchdown in what? I scored. Well, he's been fine except for they blew it. I'm looking at his game log. It's actually worse than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I think so. I mean, if the offense is going to be scoring 40+ points, then I think he's a beneficiary regardless if you're getting in the red zone, just because touchdowns haven't really broke his way recently. I think so.
So we're starting McCown. We're starting Henry. Are we starting McEwen?
I mean, I think so.
And Amador?
I think Amador is like a flex option.
Okay.
But I think McEwen is.
What about Houston Thomas?
I have a decent amount of tight end this week. Overmeyer.
I have a decent.
I was going to say I have a lot of Overmeyer.
What about Dan Dishman?
That's not a real person.
Went 3 for 45 this week. That's all I know.
No, Dishman is because I every week I work on the depth charts to do projections. I'm like, who is this person? He will not be projected moving forward.
All right. Just wanted to clarify on who we meant by startable on UTSA. Well, you know who else we think is startable this week, guys? These 15 quarterbacks. Here's our top 15 for the week.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good, wasn't it?
Professional.
Here you can see we have, as always, removed the players that have already played. So I know, specifically at, I think it was wide receiver. There's actually several guys that had already played this week, but they've been removed. So here's our top 15 quarterbacks that we have projected on the week. Colton Joseph, man, we can't get Colton Joseph after that top spot, man. He's living there now. Whoever does the QB graphic every week gets granted a free space. They're taking on UL Monroe. Jaden Mayava against Nebraska there at 2. Drew Mestamaker and Blake Horvath, both in the top 5 in a matchup there. They take each other on this weekend with Haynes King at 4, sandwiched in between them. Liam Zarka, support the troops, man. Blake Horvath, Zarka in here. They're both hanging out. Baron Morton
gets the next graphic.
Spoiler alert, there's a lot of Armed Forces guys in here this week. Juicy matchups. Baron Morton at 7. He's returning from injury. They take on Kansas State. Trinidad Chambliss at 8. Taylon Green at 9. Sawyer Robertson looking to bounce back this week at 10. Fernando Mendoza at 11. Brendan Sorsby at 12. And his opponent, Devin Dampier, there at 13. John Mateer at 14. And just a lot of just the high scoring potential games this week, I guess, because we've got 3 sets of opponents on here. I don't know if we've ever had that before. Actually, that's interesting. Chris, you're the ranking guy, the guru. You're a lot smarter than Colin and I. What are you thinking about this top 15 here this week?
Let's just touch on Mayava first, because So Jared does his weekly show, Jared Palmgren with Chasing the Natty, and he takes questions, and a lot of people are asking about Mayava this week, and he said he would just sit Mayava, which I understand the logic to that, which is Nebraska's pass defense is really good, at least statistically, and Mayava, USC is traveling across the country. That's a spot that they've historically really, really struggled in.
It's not that far. It's only halfway across the country.
That's true. But I'm looking at Nebraska's schedule, and you know what quarterbacks they played this year. I'm gonna read them to you.
Sorsby.
Yeah.
Preston Stone.
Brandon Sorsby, week 0. Yeah. Malik Washington, Aiden Childs, and that Serbian guy. I actually don't know if he's Serbian. I should have said that. I definitely don't want him. Somewhere from former Yugoslavia guy.
Balkan. We'll say Balkan.
Balkan. The quarterback at Houston, Christian. I don't remember who that is. I think it was Ben Finley for Akron. Maybe his backup because he got hurt at one point. And Bryce Underwood. So which of those say high-flying passing offense that don't boost these stats here? I just think USC's the number one passing offense in the country. I trust Lincoln Riley to keep it up. I don't think they have players in the Nebraska defense that make me say, yeah, like they got dudes who can run with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. I don't think they do.
I actually think that's a less of a QB stat and more of a what wide receivers have they played stat almost. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. What team on that list has wide receiver you're scared of? Nick Marsh? Is that the only one we mentioned on that whole list? Griffin Wilde is okay. I mean, you like
Lemeke Brockington?
It's a cool name.
It's a sick name. But the stats are so good, right? They're top 20 in like EPA. They're top 20, or maybe just outside the top 20 in success rate. They limit explosives like a crazy amount, but they haven't had the opportunity to be exposed. Like I just can't sit Mayava this week because of that. I can't get there. Yeah, maybe 2 is aggressive, and like I'm totally ignoring Nebraska's defense. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fair. I don't know, Colin. What stands out here to you? Mateer, I don't trust Mateer for what it's worth. That's one I would.
Yeah.
Throw. We can project him, and if he has a big game today, that's fine. I just straight up do not trust John Mateer until we get another decent game out of him personally.
Do you think it's health, or do you think that they've kind of found him out?
So I would just say, like, I have noticed this, and then I've seen what's his name, like Keegan, what's his name that does some like data viz college stuff on Twitter. I've seen some other people talk about it too. Stuff is running wide open for them. I just don't think Mateer's seeing it, and I think part of the problem, I don't know if it's because of the injury, he is more skidded, but as soon as his eyes are dropping so fast right now. I think he's just missing stuff. He's not letting plays develop. He's just I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's purely a Mateer, like that's just who he is issue, or if he's a little worried about the thumb and he doesn't want to get hit, and so he's scrambling and bailing on pockets he doesn't need to bail on. I don't know what the issue is, but Mateer has been like legitimately just awful since he's come back from injury.
He is a G5 quarterback.
Like, I think that's a little harsh. I think that's harsh.
Fine. He is not an SEC high-end starter level quarterback.
I even think that's a little harsh.
Oh, I don't think so at all. I think Arbuckle's doing all the heavy lifting there, and like he's kind of a gamer, but like I know Corey likes him, and there are other people who like him too. So like I don't want to say this is like demeaning to them, but I don't see NFL quarterback at all with John Mateer. Like period. Like I just don't think he's any good. Like that was my issue with him going to Oklahoma. I'm like, this dude played two legit defenses last year. Not even legit. 2 Power 5 defenses last year and was terrible passing. So like, why do we think it was gonna be better? Like I think the early season stuff is was a lot of Arbuckle. Sorry, I've been wanting to get this off my chest for like a couple weeks now, so I'm glad we brought it up.
I'm glad you can do this too. Yeah.
I just think he stinks. No, he doesn't stink. Sorry, that's harsh. I don't see the NFL stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we somebody in the chat said cover 3 tagged the issues all off season. I think they did. I think we also did a pretty good job this off season of kind of tamping down the hype and the expectations there. I would say I with Mateer, the offensive line play has been a little bit better than I would have expected. The receivers are kind of just as bad as we thought they were going to be in the weapons there. So I think the processing errors, I think the injury, I think the supporting cast, it's just not a great situation there right now for him. So I'm not writing this year off, but obviously I think he has to come back next year. And I'm willing to give it another year next year, for at least from a Debbie perspective. But from a CFF perspective, this year, like I can't get behind starting him this week. I know Tennessee's not a great defense, but I just can't get behind it.
There will be stuff open on the back end for him. I think the problem is going to be that Tennessee's front seven is pretty solid, and I think that the same issue. As soon as he smells pressure realer than imagined, he's gone. Personally,
he doesn't know how to operate inside the pocket, like at all. Like, that's just not a skill he has, which is pretty impressive considering he's an SEC quarterback. Seems like a nice guy. Sorry, not to write out too much.
If you're Oklahoma, I mean, as someone who was kind of eating crow for the first 6 weeks of the season, who was kind of saying all off season, I think the vibe stuff on Oklahoma is way too high. Everyone was really excited about this team. I thought there were legitimate flaws from a position group perspective, really specifically along the offensive line.
Yeah.
But if you're Oklahoma, you're kind of just hoping that that the O-line coalesces over the offseason. Everybody's another year older. They're starting 2 freshman tackles, or at least they did last week. You're just kind of hoping some of that stuff firms up for next year. I don't think you lose a lot of irreplaceable skill talent. I mean, you're losing Deion Burks, and I think Sategna has out of eligibility as well. Yes, they've been their 2 leaders. No, I don't think either of them, within the context of this offense, is doing anything that somebody else couldn't do when they step in. So I think if you're Oklahoma, you're really, people are getting itchy trigger fingers on Venables again. But I really do think that this was always you're kind of looking to the next year and hoping that some of these things kind of just, time firm some of these things up,
Venables going to get another year?
I personally I'm not a fan of all the firing that happens right now. I think sometimes we have to be okay with a season just not going the way that we expected. Every season has to get better, and if we don't do better than the last season, then somebody's head has to roll. Sometimes you just whiff on a few evaluations through the portal, or sometimes you just have injuries that don't bounce your way, or turnover luck even at some point. I don't like this trend of just, well, this season didn't, we expected to win 10 games and we won 8, so you're fired. I don't necessarily believe in that personally. I would not even consider firing Venables right now. I think what he did this offseason was largely correct process, and I think they're better than the prior year, even if maybe the record ends up in a similar spot as last year. I didn't mean a huge Oklahoma discussion, but
I don't disagree with you. I think that there were some situations though that were brewing for multiple years, like Franklin, Napier, the Brian Kelly situation with the governor getting involved. That's a weird one, but Pry at Virginia Tech, Arkansas.
I think if people liked Brian Kelly, for the record, I think if Brian Kelly wasn't an asshole, he might not have been fired.
I don't think he would have. Yeah.
That's fair.
So there's just I don't believe in this firing culture that we're in right now this offseason. I know some of it this year is the race to the bottom because people were fired so early that you feel like if you want to look for a new coach, you got to do it ASAP and get your hat in the ring. But yeah. I think it's been a bit shambolic on a lot of schools' parts so far.
What's the price of crude oil?
What's the price of crude oil? I usually keep up with crude oil prices, but during the season, it's hard with everything else going on. Do you know? Are you going to tell me?
No, I have no idea. Oh, it's probably high.
Might be. All right.
Back to quarterbacks.
Back to quarterbacks, though.
That got off the rails.
You know who's more expensive than a bear? No, that doesn't work. All right. Let's go to our. I mean, do we have anything else in the top 15 here? We can go to our 16 through 30 if that's the case.
No, I think this is pretty chalky. I think
Baron
Morton
should be healthy today.
Yeah. I mean, allegedly he was, more or less healthy last week, right? I mean, they dressed him at halftime after Hammond went down. So presumably, if he had to go in the game, he could have done that. So yeah.
Oh, crude oil prices are down $10 per barrel.
Maybe I'll go buy one. Nice investment.
What are we going to do? I've thought about that. Like, what do you do with a crude oil barrel? How much
Stick
is
it in the backyard? It's fine.
Is it like 55 gallons?
Put it in the back of a van and sell it.
Is that how much a barrel of crude oil is? Like how volume-wise?
I have no idea.
We'll have our interns look into that as we're talking. All right. 16 through 30 here on the quarterbacks. I just want to get ahead of this and say I actually did not do this. I'm assuming Colin did. We'll talk about it here in a second. You might already see it, viewer at home.
Biggest fan.
Anthony
Number one fan.
Never doubted. He's been
never doubted.
Anthony Calandri at 16, Nick Minicucci at 17, Kale Helms at 18, Army. There we go. We got all three Armed Force QBs in here today. Someone was asking in the chat about Micah Alejado. There he is at 19 against San Jose State today. CJ Bailey at 20, Blake Shapen taking on Arkansas at 21, Jalen Rayner at 22, Julian Sayin 23, CJ Carr 24, and I'm not actually convinced that Julian Sayin and CJ Carr are different people. I've never seen them in the same room. Luke Altmaier at 25, Connor Wegman 26, Mason Heinschel at 27, Ryder Burton at 28, Thomas Castellanos at 29, and Canton Hauser at 30. Colin, I mean, talk to me a little bit about the guy at 27 there. Our guy, hashtag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of co-opted here, kind of my guy, but yeah, I mean, Mason Heinschel for Heisman. I think that kind of says it all. We get a Stanford matchup this week. It's a soft matchup. This dude's cooking 400 yards last week. Freshman of the week for the second week this season, looking to make it a third one. And I don't see any reason why he can't.
I appreciate that, Colin. I really, really do. I considered his underdog plays, but I didn't want to come off too homerish here on the show this morning.
What does it feel like to have hope in a Pitt quarterback? Because
I love that Penn State is bad for one season. All of a sudden, Colin's shows up in all black, with his hood up, and he's just really listening to the emo-est music you've ever heard before he hops on the show. Yeah.
My Chemical Romance.
That My Chemical Romance was listen to Black Parade in the background. He's like, when I was a young boy. Come on, Colin. Get out of here. Does feel good though. Chris, you're muted, by the way.
I'm probably for the best based on what I said.
I know that the way you reacted, I was like, you definitely just zinged Colin.
Yeah. Anyway, Heinschel's been awesome, man. Really, really excited. I don't know what the NIL situation is, but I really hope he stays. Let's put that into the universe. But
they'll get at least one more year. I've said this before. He and his family are very publicly Pitt was our only P4 offer. We're pretty happy here. So I don't think they have to pony up a ton, but I think they will give him what.
Is he Ohio or is he
Ohio?
Yeah. I mean Penn State. Pitt does well out of that area. What a win for the scouting staff too, to find that kid. There's so many ways that I want to take this discussion because there's a lot of names here that are new or not super comfortable. So I'm gonna do a couple quick ones, I think. Keep an eye on whether Minicucci's playing. There's thought that he might be out. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen any updated information. But if you're planning on starting him, just make sure you have a backup option in case of emergency. I don't know when that game kicks off either. I don't think it's a noon game. Oh, it might be. So Anyway, keep
He's
an eye on
good.
the Minicucci situation. Kale Helms,
It's a 3:30 game, just as a heads up. So
okay.
you might, as a listener and watcher, might have to make a decision ahead of time. We'll see if we can find anything. I don't know if we'll have anything before noon, unfortunately, on that.
And
yeah,
Kale Helms plays Air Force. That's not UCLA.
I
don't know who did the graphic, but
about disrespecting the troops. Kale Helms is kind of interesting. Like he's for sure the starter now. He's way better than Dwayne Coleman. Like I think we can pack it up and just starting him moving forward. They're not doing that like whole bait and switch anymore. Mike Alajado's healthy. Healthy Mike Alajado seems to be like a 300 yards and 4 touchdowns player. So like the reason that he's not projected higher, to Brett's question in the chat, is a combination of a couple things. One, like he was pretty bad for a couple weeks there, and I know it was injury related, but like it's still part of the data set. 2, the total in that game is only 55. You would think with Hawaii and San Jose State, like it would be like 63, 64, but it's been hovering between 55, 56 all week. So like if your implied team total is like 27 points, 28 points ish, like it's kind of hard to get there over some other quarterbacks who are in like the 30s. I think that might be it. Ryder Burton, UAB post Dilfer is legit. Like they hated playing for that guy. I kind of just like the offense in general. I think anybody can run it.
Is Milliner playing this week? Does anybody know? I saw he was back at practice. That to me signals maybe not this week, or I think maybe it would have been reported differently on the front end. But
I thought he was gone from the team. So when I
did
saw
too,
that,
and then I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting."
I was like, "Wait, what?"
Maybe he was, and then as soon as he left, as soon as Trent Dilfer left, they were like, "Hey, you wanna come back?" That tells me that whatever happened wasn't that big of a deal, and Trent Dilfer's just an asshole, right?
Probably.
Him and Brian Kelly can go coach together somewhere.
Yeah. I'm watching this UAB offense kind of rest of the season, especially because their defense is terrible, and like if the offense is actually kind of legit, then like it could be interesting with some of these players. Like Solomon Beatty's getting quite a bit of run at running back, but Jalen Jackson's also there in the receiving game. So like, I think there could be some flex options here.
That is, that's good to know. It's kind of another offense that maybe if you've still got some waiver additions going on in leagues to pay attention to here. I have nothing to add on this slide, so let's go to the running backs, shall we? Here's our top 15. Jeremiah Love occupying the top slot this week. They take on Boston College. Emmett Johnson at number 2. Nebraska takes on USC. Dalen Smothers, Caleb Hawkins, Justice Haynes at 5. I think we need to talk about this before we move on, though. There are some real conflicting reports as to whether Justice Haynes broke his foot, is playing this week, has been practicing, is not. We don't really know. So I would say number 5 is the Michigan running back, and we'll leave it there.
Yep.
Kawan Lacey at 6, Antoine Raymond at 7, Mark Fletcher 8, LJ Henderson 9, King Miller, all hail the King at 10, Isaac Brown 11, Cam Edwards 12, Deshaun Bishop 13, Cameron Dickey 14, and Jaden Thomas at 15. Chris, just come right over to you. I may have stolen your thunder on Michigan there already, but anything here that you want to highlight for us?
So I think Haynes is out for what it's worth. Like I think the broken foot stuff is real. It was on the 24/7 message boards. There's been pictures of him in a boot, unless it's AI. Like I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure he's not playing, and I'm pretty sure he might not play for like a couple weeks. So just treat him as if he's out, in my opinion, today.
Hopefully you got those.
Yeah.
You got those. What are they called? The auto subset if you have Haynes in.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that there's anything that interesting here this week. I do think it's nice to see Isaac Brown back in the top 15. Like now that he's a little bit healthier, and Duke Watson's hurt, like he's I think coming on quite a bit. This might be the last week for LJ Henderson in the top 10. Like at some point, like you got to do something, buddy. and like the workload is great, but like if you're not doing anything, then I can only do so much with your ranking. Like I'm like LJ, I am trying my darndest to like get you there, but like Buffalo is so bad. Like I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened with Buffalo this offseason because I think Pete Lembo is a really good coach. But yeah, this is LJ's last stand in the top 10 because he's getting nuked otherwise because he just hasn't been good. Workload's been there, but he has not been good.
Fun fact: Buffalo has a borderline top 30 running back in next year's class committed to them.
Is he good?
That is a fun fact.
We don't need to deep too deep in his profile. He's not a great athlete, and he missed his whole junior year with a knee injury. So this could be a like maybe he's better than the services think. He hasn't handled a lot of volume in high school, so I don't know what to make of him. Is the short answer.
Well, they have Sperling, who was like a top 50 back in his class, or something like that.
Yeah, they've done a decent job grabbing some of these local-ish guys. Weirdly, at Buffalo. Colin, anything? Any names here you want to highlight?
I think Emmett Johnson at number 2 is really interesting because I think what the weather in that game is not supposed to be great, and I think Dylan Raiola has been a check down machine all year, so I think that's going to benefit Emmett Johnson a lot. So I think perfectly fine at number 2 this week, and then Cameron Dickey seems to be taking over there at Texas Tech. So I'm in on Dickey, kind of not out on Williams, but like, you know, I think Dickey's the one you want. Everybody wants a little Dickey there.
You guys can't see us right now, but Chris enjoyed that comment.
Just so that like I when I'm not watching, I type fake names into the show, and I don't even need to do that. Colin will just do.
Colin's in on Dickey. You heard it here first.
Colin's riding Dickey this week.
I think one name that is interesting here because he hasn't been like overly efficient as of late, really in conference play, is Kawan Lacey. Up at 6, did have a nice week last week against Oklahoma, but a lot of that came on that albeit very nice touchdown run. I don't know. 6 feel a little high to you, Chris? Taking on your Gamecocks there?
It's hard to find a player that you think is going to get like 20 plus touch, like 22, 25 touches a game.
Yeah.
And like go away from them, especially against the South Carolina defense that I really don't think much of. They have a good pass rusher, and that's really it. Like outside of Stewart, they really had nothing coming into the year to begin with, and the rush defense is okay. I don't think it's as good as the stats would lead you to believe. They just haven't really played great rushing offenses. So I think they're going to struggle quite a bit today. And even if Lacey's inefficient, like if he gets 20 carries for like 85 yards, he's probably also get a touchdown. He gets work in the receiving game. Like there's a lot of paths for Lacey, I think, to get there. And they use him a lot around the goal line too. So it's a big spread. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they relied on him quite a bit. 6 does feel high, but like I still like him for like usage reasons. It's just hard to argue with like 20 touch players and like say they don't deserve to be in the top 15. That's so rare at the running back position.
Yeah, and like you said, the touchdown upside I think is big there too.
I don't know.
He'll make an appearance later in the show, but he's scoring like 1-2 touchdowns like every week.
Teaser.
What is this total in that game? I don't remember off the top of my head. It can't be that high.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it's super high either. I was actually curious about that. I don't think we're getting any start sit questions in there. So if you guys got them, feel free to drop them in the chat there, and we'll definitely get to them as they pop up. We usually have a lot by this time. So maybe people don't have a lot of tough decisions to make this week. I wish, I wish that was me. And not in a good way. We're choosing between some bad options out here this week, folks.
There's some tough bye weeks this week.
Yeah. Although not as bad as I think it was last week. Oh my god!
Yeah, last week definitely the worst.
Some real gross decisions last week. Not fun. The second 15 here, 16 through 30 at running back. Kendrick Raphael, Ridley Brown, Dean Connors, Dylan Riley, Elon Heidenreich, Jadarian Price, Jamari Taylor, Demond Claiborne, Jakirian Turner, Miles Montgomery, Javon Ducker, Adam Randall, Tyree Walker, Daniel Highshaw, and Nate Shepard make up 16 through 30 here. I mean, Chris, I'll just toss it right to you here. Any names here that you want to discuss or touch on?
I knew nothing about Jakarian Turner coming into, I think, like last week. That's literally a new name to me. Like, I'd never heard of this player. I don't even think he played much running back in high school. Like, that's...
Well, Colin and I talked about him 2 weeks ago on Campus Life, man. So that's on you.
Well, sorry, I'm a little bit behind on my podcast.
That's what I say when I'm just blowing people's podcasts off too.
I wonder if he's going to get just like Des Reed usage. Like, is Reed playing this week? I don't think he is, right? Like I don't think he's been ruled out, but I don't think he's playing.
I doubt he's playing. If I had to guess, yeah.
So I think it's like maybe not 1-for-1, but the usage is probably like really similar. So if we see that happen again, I think that he could be like a top 15 back the rest of the season. Just a player I didn't know anything about because I didn't listen to Campus Life. The one host is really mean to the other. It's a tough listen.
I know my feelings are hurt at the end of that show every time.
Should Anthony Hankerson be on this list? I don't know where we even have Anthony Hankerson ranked this week. But I can tell you why he's not that high. I don't trust anything I've seen from him. Like, it took playing Lafayette to have like his first startable game of the season.
Hey, put some respect on the Leopards.
Is that what they are?
I think so. So my brother went to school there. I'm pretty sure they're the Leopards, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I was looking at his game log earlier in the week, and I was like, okay, what game would you have started him and felt like you were satisfied with the performance that you got? And I don't think there was one. He had a 13-point week, and I think every other week he's been below that. I really need to see him do it again against like an actual good opponent before I start him. I can't get there. Like, he was terrible against Cal. He was terrible against Fresno. He was terrible against Houston. He was terrible against App. Wake has an okay defense. He was okay against them. So, like, maybe he's turning the corner. But I don't know. It's just hard to trust Hankerson after what we've seen this year. And, like, beating up at an FCS team doesn't give me the warm fuzzies. I also like Washington State's defense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty decent.
I think they were a play at 3.5 for what it's worth. Wink, wink. I think they're going to win this week. And so if like the game script also gets out of hand, then I think you're looking at a real problem because I don't think he's going to be that efficient. And so I don't know. The defense is getting better at limiting explosives. And that is, I think, the key here because he's not efficient on a down-to-down rate. Like, I know the defensive success rate skews like a lot worse, but the explosives are a little bit better for Washington State. So I don't know. I kind of like this fight they've showed the last couple weeks.
We have Anthony Hankerson, for what it's worth, as the 59th projected running back in our rankings this week, right around 13 points. So just to
yeah, I do think the quarterback change is pretty interesting. That's fair. But like, I don't know how legit it is.
Brett says, by the way, Chris, if Alahada goes for 350 and 4, will you finally show him some love? I think that's what I mean. We are showing him love. It's just hard unless you're in 6-point passing TD leagues. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of rushing stuff there. It's
I mean, he's quarterback 16. It's not like I hate him, or 17 or something like that. It's not like I hate him, but I think that's fair. His early season stuff drags him down so much, and plus the 27 by team total. Like, is it all going to come to the air? Probably. So, like, it's just math, to be honest. Like, I largely don't go in and adjust unless I absolutely need to. Oh,
Arvin,
that's perfect.
Arvin says thoughts on Carson Hansen this week, a running back who is not on the running backs here, but was our RB55, so right around Hankerson, 13.3 points per week, or this week is what we have him projected at as they take on Arizona State.
Abu Sama's back, right?
He is.
Like they're both
played
playing
last week, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't like starting either of them when they're both in. When the other is out, that one is probably a starter. But like it's just tough to rely on them. Sama's been better this year than Hansen too. So like I don't know that he's gonna get the workload that I think is requisite.
Hansen went for 16, 152 and 2 last week. He's coming off a pretty big game. But again, like the 16 carries that, it's just because Sama had, I don't remember, like 9 or something like that. I mean, the distribution between the two of them is pretty tight. I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, 16 carries versus 9 carries. And they honestly weren't. Sama averaged 7 yards a carry as well, and Hansen averaged 9.5. So it's like they both were pretty decent. Tough to differentiate.
It's just tough when they're both playing, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just tough.
Arizona State. I mean, they might be running the ball a lot this week, though, right? Like Iowa State might be against, because I mean, you get up early and you just kind of cruise would be my thought.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
All right, let's check out the wide receivers here. Actually, we have Stacy in the comments who says, sorry, got in a bit late. Who would you start between Mestamaker, Mayava, or Mendoza? For me, Mestamaker. What do you guys? I'm just rolling Mestamaker out there until he poops a bed, personally. Mendoza probably has the safest, like if you just need 25 points, Mendoza's probably going to get you right around 25 points, though.
Yes. Agree. I think Mayava's ranked the highest, but like I would go Mestamaker personally.
Mayava and Mestamaker are ranked pretty close together. I want to say like Mayava's 2 or 3, and Mestamaker's also top 5. I would lean Mestamaker too. A little concerned about the weather and the pass defense with Mayava, like we talked about there. I mean, the concern I think with me for Mestamaker is like, Navy's path to winning that game is just like total ball control. So like, can they play a little bit of keep away, keep that like scoring down a little bit? So I would lean Mestamaker, but like you said, Mendoza's the floor play.
How bad is the weather supposed to be there today? I thought it was clearing up a little bit at night, but you're right. It is going to get a little windy. Well, no, only 11.
Only 11 mile an hour wind, which I know not that bad, but it's just
that's just a slight breeze. That's just that's nothing. That's nothing. Jim says Rodney Fields at Kansas could be a sneaky start for Oklahoma State. I mean, we have him RB 83, but like 11.5 fantasy points. I mean, once you start getting down here, there's not a ton of points differentiating some of these guys. So there are definitely worse options, I would think. We've still got some people discussing Hankerson. Brett says, is Dylan Riley even Boise's RB1? Appeared to shift some to gains last week.
It's weird. I think that's. I keep thinking that he's not like the RB1, and then he'll come out and get like 25 touches and like lead the way and be like the best running back period. And I'm just like, well, like I don't know. To be honest with you, I did not watch this game, the Boise State Nevada game. Like it was, I think, on when I was waking up, but I did not watch it. How much of the usage was late game stuff for Riley? Did anybody watch? Because like they got up pretty quick and then like salted the game away.
And I will just chime in. We have Gaines projected for 11.35 fantasy points this week, and Dylan Riley for 15.4. So like again, and this is the difference between RB24 and RB87. Like there's a pretty like I'm gonna say, like once you start getting deeper into these, there's not like that much separation. He says, Riley kind of started off, and so. Okay.
Yeah, I honestly did not watch the game, so I cannot speak to it. Yeah, I know Riley was the starter. That just it's hard to predict volume, but I think that's fair.
I personally am not playing any Boise running backs until further notice, but that's just me. Wide receiver, and I think we're going to have a discussion because there's some tweaks that are going to be made here with Jeff Sims in at record QB. You would think that maybe limit some ceiling there on Jordan Tyson. But Danny Scudero is our top rated or ranked wide receiver this week. Jeremiah Smith at 2, Tyson at 3, Elijah Stroud at 4, Chris Bell at 5, Skylar Bell, no relation as far as we know, at 6, Mekhi Lemon 7, Malachi Tony 8, Isaiah Sategna 9, KJ Duff 10, TJ Moore 11, Josh Cameron 12, Chris Brazel 13, Jackson Harris, the wide receiver we all thought was going to lead Hawaii this year at 14, and Wyatt Young at 15. Chris, and any name? I mean, what Tyson, I guess, is the big one. I would just ask you right up front. I mean, you've got to figure Sims will target him because Sims is so bad that he's probably going to hone in on one guy.
Is Tyson playing this week?
That's the other question. I thought they were said like he was trending toward yes, but with Sims in there, maybe there's thinking no need to risk it now. I haven't seen a confirmation on that.
It sounded negative when I saw the injury report, and I don't know that he's going to go. Honestly, you have to start him if he plays. So like it doesn't really matter where he's ranked in my opinion. Like he's just a player you plug in and just say whatever happens. At least that's how I treat the situation. He didn't play last week, right? So yeah, I understand the floor is like comically low, but he does get like 20 targets when Sims plays. I don't think he's going to play, personally.
Colin, anything here from you?
I think I feel the same way about Tyson about Scudero that Chris mentioned about Tyson. Like, I think you have to play Scudero. So we had a question in the chat, like, do you trust Scudero? Because he's been banged up. Like, I think you have to roll him out there. Like, he's just too good not. Like, he has wide receiver 1 every week.
They're coming off a bye too, right? So you got to figure.
Yeah,
he's at least feeling a little bit better this week than he was in previous weeks.
Yeah. So I think you got to play Scudero for sure. I think KJ Duff cracking the top 10 is really interesting. Everybody talks about Strong there as the number 1 wide receiver, and I think he's got the best NFL projection. But Duff has been really good.
Is Strong playing this week?
Also, I don't think we've received any confirmation. Rutgers is generally fairly cagey on these matters. Is not super shocking with who their coach is.
It sounds like there's some optimism that Strong is going to play this week, coming into game time, according to 24/7. So
we should start getting injury reports and stuff dropping here relatively soon. It's almost 11 for a lot of these games. I actually don't remember if Rutgers plays at noon or not, but we should start getting some information on some of these that we can start filling people in on.
Yeah. So if Strong, I think both are startable, but like if Strong plays, then obviously I think you have to downgrade Duff. Like this ranking was put in there with the assumption that Strong is not in, for what it's worth. I still think you play Duff, but like you downgrade him.
For what it's worth,
his list is questionable on that.
Somebody said he was running around on the field pregame, but Jeremy Werner from 24/7 Sports just tweeted out, I don't see Rutgers wide receiver Ian Strong doing initial warmups with the rest of the Scarlet Knights receivers. So, I guess TLDR, we don't really know yet, but it seems like maybe not.
Future tight end J Duff will be great.
TJ Moore, you think, is the leading Clemson guy this week?
I think. How confident am I? Not very, but I think so. He's at least the big play guy, right? Like that's kind of what you're looking to him for. So they get a good Duke defense. I don't think is very good. I think Duke is going to be able to keep up with them this week. Kate Klubnik's back, like all that.
Is Klubnik officially playing?
He is. Yeah, he's available, which means yes. By the way, I bring a lot of negativity to the show. This guy stinks. This guy's terrible. This coach thinks this coach is terrible. I thought Chris Vizina played an okay game when he was out the other week.
Yeah, I would
I
agree
thought
with that.
I was honestly impressed by Vizina, and that's not something I thought I would ever say.
There we go. Thanks, Chris. That's,
At least
nice of you.
when I'm wrong, I can and at least admit it, because I thought he was terrible and he was serviceable.
Yeah, I think TJ Moore gets double-digit targets this week.
I think he gets in the end zone.
Okay.
I almost picked that as my underdog play, but I picked a different one. But
From that same game, maybe.
Maybe. Tune in later to find out.
Colin just sprinkling teasers for his underdog plays later throughout the show here.
Stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe.
If we don't have anything else here, I mean, we can go to the.
Is Wyatt Young definitely the guy for North Texas now? Because Coleman's
define the guy. They use him a lot of different ways, though. They use him on. They give him some like carries at times. He's interesting. I've watched a couple of North Texas games recently.
He is. I don't know. I just think they like him. Like, I think he's a hard worker. First in, last out.
No, I knew exactly where you were going as soon as you said that.
Lunch pail guy.
I mean, I picked up Wyatt Young in 2 leagues off of waivers last week. Had to start him because of bye weeks and stuff, and worked out. So I'm on the Wyatt Young bandwagon here, but I don't know how legit it is.
Coleman's been banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, is he the guy when healthy? Maybe, but Coleman's also a guy who, he could get you 10 receptions and like 60 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's
his
game. Yeah, Easton Messer type. Just these players who high volume and the target's just worth nothing. That's not the case with Wyatt Young. Like he's the explosive guy in the offense.
Has a nose for the end zone too. It seems like they use him a lot around the red zone.
Well, he's big. He's probably their biggest receiver.
Probably. That's all like a bunch of little guys. Yeah. And then him.
This tall, lanky white dude catching fades.
All right. 16 through 30 here for us this week. Cooper Barkate, Hank Beatty, Iverson Hooks, Deuce Robinson, Carnell Tate, Jordan Napier, Omar Cooper, Brennan Thompson, Anthony Smith, Victor Snow, Jace Brown, Patheli Ashlock, Devin Boyson, Cade Harris, and Omega Blake. Former Gamecock, am I right? I think Omega Blake?
Gamecock, 49er, raceback.
He's been around a little bit. Yeah. Chris.
He was terrible South Carolina, too.
We've got some more exciting whites here.
That's true.
I wasn't supposed to say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hank Beatty. Oh, man. What a treat.
Yeah, we got
Oh, yeah. Cade Harris. At least, yeah, Cade Harris is right. You don't
watch out. You don't want to pull a Chris K.
Yeah, don't want to get yourself in trouble. Yeah, there's actually a lot of interesting names. I think Iverson Hooks is a guy that I was talking about the UAB offense earlier. Like, this is a player who I think you can start to potentially rely on if Milner is not coming back. Now, if Milner is back, I don't think he's playing this week, but if he's back, then like that situation changes. But I think he's a start this week. It's funny. I have such a hard time nailing down what exactly the Cade Harris like touch distribution looks like, because he can get 0 or like 20 because he gets, or not 20, but like 10 because he gets rush attempts. And I think Air Force is going to use him this week. I think it's going to be a big part of their game plan because Zarka can like chuck it and not chuck it, but like he's an above average service academy quarterback. So I like him. He's not quite as hot as he was at the beginning of the year, but he's still a player that I think I plugged in a couple lineups.
Colin, any thoughts on anybody on the page here? Victor Snow is a guy that's doing a lot better than I thought he was going to be doing this year.
With awful quarterback play.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I think Brendan Thompson's going to go nuts today against Arkansas. That Arkansas defense is bad. And Thompson's been playing well lately. I know Evans is a little bit more of like the big play threat there, but I think Thompson's going to have a big day in this one.
Where is Gladding ranked? I don't have the rankings in front of me.
Where's who ranked?
Gladding
Gladding
from
from
Old
Old
Dominion.
Dominion.
Naeem Abdul-Rahim.
He is wide receiver 75, about 12 and a half
Seems really
projected
low.
points this week.
It seems really low. I probably still have Troy Thomas ranked ahead of him, based on touchdown equity. But I think both those wide receivers are kind of interesting for Old Dominion. They actually have three. You know what? Old Dominion actually has three like pretty good receivers. Like they're all around like 400 to 600 yards. Like I think Thomas has the least amount of yardage but the most targets, and then Trey Brown has maybe the most yardage and touchdowns, and then Gladding has like a combination. They have three pretty good receivers there for the what are they? The Monarchs. But I think Trey Brown is the least consistent. I think Thomas is the most consistent, and then Gladding is kind of like the big play guy, or the big boom week guy. Not to deep dive on all the big receivers, but the top two are playable. I think they seem ranked kind of low.
All right, let's touch on tight ends here. Top 15. Tanner Koziol, the top spot. Makes sense. He's been pretty dang consistent this year, as has Michael Trigg there at 2, Dorian Thomas at 3, Justin Jolie at 4, Eli Stowers at 5, Dallin Bentley at 6, Mason Minnie 7, Joe Royer at 8, Sam Roush at 9, Jaron Kanek 10, Benjamin Brommer 11, Bowden Groen 12, Randy Pittman 13, Shimon Medier at 14, and Eli Raridan at 15. Chris, not only are you the rankings guy, but you're also the tight end guy. So preach the gospel.
Justin Jolie's not playing this week. That's on me for keeping me in the rankings.
Oh, he's not playing this week. I actually didn't realize that.
I didn't see that one either.
I know he left last week's game, but he was like doing stuff on the sidelines and stuff. I thought maybe he would.
Oh, I thought he was out this week.
Maybe he is. I didn't.
Did I make that up?
He had the quad injury last week.
Oh,
he had the Greg Jennings
question. He's questionable.
Yeah.
He's questionable. He hasn't been like ruled out. I mean,
he didn't play the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was ruled out. That's my bad.
Hollywood Smothers and Jolie are both questionable today. So that's fun.
I don't think he's going to play.
Pitt beat him up.
Personally. Yeah. Really.
Can't hang with Heinzel.
Heisman Heinzel to you.
Well, now I feel like Colin's rope-a-doping me. I'm not that comfortable with what's been happening here this morning on the Mason Heinzel front.
Possibly. Dorian Thomas, like, I don't hear anybody talk about this dude, and he's been nothing but like pretty good for you.
Mm-hmm. Super consistent,
and like, that's kind of all you can ask for from tight end. Last week, I think was his worst game of the season, and he had 2 for 19. Like that, obviously, it's not going to get it done. But he's like 10 points, plus maybe a touchdown. Like it's not sexy, but like it gets there when the tight end position is so in flux. So it's not warm and fuzzy. He's only scored a touchdown in 3 of his games. So like a little tough, but the yardage and the workload is there, and I think that they're live this week too. So I expect them to be able to throw it around a little bit.
All right, Colin. Sam Roush has actually been really good recently. I have a league that we have no waivers, and I actually have had to play him as a flex play a couple times this season. And he's actually been pretty solid for me across those weeks. So shout out Sam Roush.
Is Jaron Kanek the best offensive skill position player for Oklahoma?
In terms of like what I think like the sheer talent level is, yeah, probably.
He does not
Isaiah
have touchdown
Sategna
on the season.
However you would quantify that. I mean, obviously difficult, but
ever since the injury, he has not been very good. But
I would notice
think
that.
he could get back this week. If he's another bad game, I think then you just have to start sitting him. But like when the offense was humming and he was healthy and everyone was healthy, like he was the primary go-to option for Mateer. And
I was about to say he shouldn't be a
plays.
guy that if Mateer is like the mental stuff is popping up with him. It seems like initial read on a lot of stuff, or first or second read. It's not like he's working through a bunch of progressions and then just saying, "Oh, there's Jaren." Like it seems like he's generally like first or second option. So I don't know. It'd be nice. I have a lot of Jaren Kanak.
I do too.
All right.
I have a lot of player that think that's tough. I don't think you can play him this week.
Lars says, "What about Daquan Wright?"
I don't know where Daquan Wright is. He was low because of the usage in the context of the offense, but like I don't know how low.
He's number 20, so he's right below this.
Yeah,
right around 10. Right around 10 points projected this week.
Well, maybe not. Usage is weird in the Ole Miss offense. Like I don't know who you can trust on like a week-to-week basis. The answer is kind of nobody. Where we didn't, I don't think we addressed this. Where is Amari Thomas ranked before we go to break real quick?
The wide receiver?
Yes.
Wide receiver 36.
That seems totally fair. I like Amari Thomas, and I'm starting him in spots.
Amari Thomas, great receiver. Great receiver.
Not Alabama level, but yeah.
I mean, is Houston that much different than Alabama?
The streets aren't going to forget that, Colin.
How does he have another year of eligibility? Because
I think he does.
Oh
yeah.
Oh
yeah. Watch out. Isaiah Horton's going to go to the league.
Never wrong just early, possibly.
Yeah. We'll see.
And then we'll hit one last question here, and then we'll go to break here. Daniel says, last flex spot has some options: Adam Randall, King Miller, Jadarian Price, Nate Shepard, Keegan Johnson.
Ooh.
I think it depends what you need out of that spot. If it's your last flex spot, you might just be like, are you a heavy favorite, or is your team really good? Like a lot of those, because I think the safest answer of all those players, I think, is Jadarian Price. 30+ point favorites. His workload and efficiency is really good, even though he's the RB2. He's a top 30 back for us this week. I think if you need like 12 points, Jadarian Price is going to get you home. I think King Miller is the highest upside. Like I don't think much of this Nebraska front seven. I think that he's the guy they want to be leveraging based on the situation. And then Adam Randall, Nate Shepard, and Keegan Johnson fall somewhere in the middle. At least that's the way that I'm reading the situation.
I agree. I think it really comes down to Price or Miller for me. I do think Price gives you a good ceiling on that, because I would see him being out there for longer than they would put Jeremiah Love out there. If this game gets a little messy, I could see him getting more than his normal 8 to 10 carries and getting, maybe like 15 carries plus a smattering of passes. So I think he offers like a nice ceiling there too. But I do think King Miller is the ceiling play. So I agree with that. But I think I would lean Price.
So in games that Notre Dame has won by double-digit scores, or at least 10 points, Price has 14 points, 14 points, 14 points, 28 points. Like, that is kind of the range that I would expect, like 14 to 28. And I think 28 on the very high end. That's when they blew out Purdue. But like, I understand the logic. Probably stays in longer, like you said. They're not leaving Jeremiah Love out there the whole game. The dude can't stay healthy to begin with. Like they're not gonna do that.
All right, we're gonna go to break, guys. When we come back, I think we're gonna hit Underdog first, talk some betting, talk some injury roundup as we start getting the injury reports coming in, all that and more. This is the Tailgate, brought to you by Campus to Canton.
I have been crazy, but that's just alright. Alright. I have been lonely, but that's just alright. Alright. My feelings, I don't hide 'em, hide 'em, hide 'em. Inside they keep on burning, burning, burning. Your feelings, you shouldn't hide 'em, hide 'em, hide 'em from me. Not, alright. Come and get it if you read it, want it. Come and get it if you read it, read it. Come and get it if you read it, want it. Come and get it if you read it, read it. Come and get it if you read it, want it. Come and get it if you read it, read it. Come and get it if you read it, want it. Come and get it if you read it, read it. I feel so unfortunate. What's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. The trail leads back to you. What's the Scooby-Doo? What's the Scooby-Doo? We're gonna follow you. You're gonna solve that mystery. We see you, Scooby-Doo. We're coming after you. What's the Scooby-Doo? Don't look back. You might find another clue. Scooby snacks will be waiting here for you. What's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. The trail leads back to you. What's the Scooby-Doo? Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. What's the Scooby-Doo? I feel something so wrong, doing the right thing. I couldn't lie. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. I've been living thinking about the things that we could be. Baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars.
All right, we're counting stars here on the tailgate. I see 1, 2, 3 on the screen right now. Chris Moxley, Colin Decker, Austin Nace, getting you guys ready for today's games. We've talked rankings already, guys. We've talked rankings. Let's get into some underdog plays. How's that sound? Let's pull that up here, talk about what we like over an underdog. And while you're here, guys, promo code C2C get you initial deposit match up to $250 over at Underdog. I know personally, this is where, accountability time. I may have reverse swept last week. May have. This week's going to be better. I know it. I'm better than that. Let's bring these up. Colin, why don't you lead us off? You've been, just dropping the breadcrumbs. Everyone's been following along here. So the big reveal finally.
Yeah, big reveal. And we'll start with the one that I did not tease. And that's Gunnar Stockton higher than 0.5 Russian receiving touchdowns. He's got 5 touchdowns over his last 5 games rushing. He didn't have one against Alabama, but he had 2 against Kentucky. So he's been their main guy on the ground this year. They can't really run the ball that well with the rest of the guys. I mean, Bowens is okay. Frazier's okay when he's not fumbling, but Gunnar Stockton has really been like the guy there. And there's also a little bit of revenge narrative there. Florida. So Florida, Gunnar Stockton's grandfather died of a heart attack in the parking lot after Georgia lost to Florida in 2010. So Gunnar Stockton is going to be out for blood this week. So I like him higher than a half a rushing touchdown. The other one that I teased a little bit earlier, Antonio Williams higher than 4.5 receptions. He's gone over this in each of the last 5 games. And we talked about TJ Moore. I think he's like the high ceiling guy. I think he gets in the end zone. He's their big play guy. But Antonio Williams is like the underneath option. He's the guy who is just going to move the chains, very steady. So I like him to go higher than 4.5 this one, especially against a soft Duke defense. And then the last one I have is Kawan Lacey lower. That's right. This might even be my first lower of the year. I'm usually the positive guy, but Kawan Lacey lower than 123.5 rush and receiving yards. He's only been over this total twice this year. It was Washington State. Was the one game where he went over that, and obviously they're not very good. But his last 4 out of his last 5 games, he's been over 4 yards per carry one time, and it was that Washington State one. He catches some passes, but they're all like pretty close to the line of scrimmage. I think he's probably going to get in the end zone, but I don't see him having like a huge yardage total this week. So give me the lower on Kawan Lacey, 123.5 rushing receiving yards.
For the record, I just want to say I'm really proud of you for doing a lower, because this might be a first time ever on the show. Is that feels accurate to me?
It feels accurate. I want to say this is my first one this season for sure.
There we go.
So
you guys are witnessing history here this morning on the tailgate. Chris, your plays for the week. And you're muted, just so you know.
Let's start with Haynes King, lower 29.5 pass attempts. They're a pretty big favorite over North Carolina today. They're undefeated. I think that they've gotten by the skin of their teeth a couple times this year. I think this is a game that they try to be as low-key as possible, get in, get out, take the win. North Carolina has been brutal this year. Like Bailey played okay to start the year. Sorry?
North Carolina State.
No, sorry, North Carolina State. CJ Bailey's been kind of like brutal after his hot start to the year. I think Tech just goes in and plays it like a very, very straightforward game. Like, you don't want Haynes King dropping back 30 times in any matchup. He's only done it twice this year. One was an overtime game against Wake, last week against Syracuse. Don't think we get there this week. He's been closer to the 21 than he has to the 34 times, and not this year. Michael Trigg, higher than 53.5 receiving yards. I just think that he's just such an integral part of this offense, and I don't think anything of this UCF defense. Listen, I believe I've done his number like quite a few times, and he's gotten home more often than not. Now, last week they struggled against Cincinnati trying to get the ball going at all, but he's hit this almost every week down the stretch outside of post Stanford. He went over for 5 straight contests. I think that he ends up in the 65-ish range here. And this game is going to be probably competitive. So I expect them to be throwing a bunch. Plus, who knows what the running back situation looks like with Bryson Washington, who we didn't even talk about with running backs. Maybe we address it later in the injury segment. And then this, I gave a little bit of credit back and forth. This player, I was too hard on him. This player, I have not been too hard on. Nick Singleton is just not a good running back. He's gone over this 39.5 number. Well, against conference opponents, one time. They've played, 4 conference games now? 21, 39. He actually didn't even go over against UCLA. 20 and 15. I just don't think that there's a path for Nick Singleton to end up in the 40 yards here with Katron Allen. He just isn't very good at this point. And this is a really, really good Ohio State defense. So if I don't think he can do it against Northwestern, I don't think he can do it against Ohio State. So Nick Singleton, lower 39.5 rush yards.
Singleton was the 4th on my list that I seriously debated doing this morning. So glad that I didn't go the same route there as you, Chris. But wholeheartedly agreed. I think his reputation is bolstering his weekly number, and that's when there's some opportunity when you can get things like that. And speaking of a player like that, Dallas Wilson, I have this week lower than 58.5 receiving yards. Had that great coming out party against Texas in week 7 or whatever that was. But since then, really hasn't done a ton, which is a little surprising because the passing offense, at least from like a statistical output perspective, has actually been a little better than a little better than I thought it would be. But the last couple of weeks, 3 for 20, 2 for 36. After that, 6 for 111 that first week. So I just don't think he's going to get to that 58.5 receiving yards number. I don't usually like doing numbers this high, but Jeremiah Love higher than 116.5 rush yards. I just think he gets there. I mean, Boston College is like not even a speed bump right now. Like, what's less than just a little pothole in the ground? Like, I really just think Notre Dame. I don't even think Notre Dame is going to really need to open it up from a passing perspective at all this week. I think they can just run the ball, get in, get out. I think him and Price are both going to have really nice weeks, and obviously we have Price or Love as our top running back this week, so that makes sense. And then I actually have King Miller higher than 16.35 fantasy points. I mean, yeah, it's really him and Jackson, I think, are the only two running backs that are healthy there for them this week. And I would expect, just based on what we saw when all the running backs went out a couple weeks ago, I would expect Miller to be handling the bulk of the work there for them. I think they'll use him a little bit in the passing game. I think you'll get a ton of touches on the ground. I think a touchdown is well in play here. Nebraska's rushing defense, not great. And so I just think overall, in a game where I expect USC to score a decent amount, I think I expect him to have a pretty nice week. So 16.35 fantasy points higher for King Miller. King Miller. Jackson? I mean, King Miller. It's a cool name. How often do you get to bet on a guy named King Miller?
Was Jackson the one that they had listed out and then played him anyway?
Yes, I believe so.
I think you're right. By the way, that was a couple weeks ago, and like so much not related to the plot here. But how ridiculous is it that happened, and the only consequence was a $5,000 fine?
Yeah, it should be a lot more than that. I don't
like what stops a team from saying, "Oh, you know what? I don't think Cade Klubnik's going to play this week," and list him out on Wednesday, and then second half, Chris Vizina gets benched and Cade Klubnik comes in, and what are you going to fine Clemson $5,000?
I mean, that's almost like not the exact scenario, but isn't that basically just what Utah did? They said Devin Dampier probably wasn't going to play, and then they were like, "Oh, actually, he is probably going to play this week," and then just didn't play him, like didn't suit him up at all. Like,
yeah, there's no consequences, so why not? Why not do it? Seriously.
I think we'll see more consequences for that next year. I think in the offseason, you're going to get the books and other major betting entities pushing back on that pretty hard.
College.
I mean, I just think other coaches are going to say, like, I am responsibly doing my
also true
my report every week, and you've got Whittingham over here dicking around with his. Like, I think you're going to get other schools and other coaches mad about it when they're actually trying to follow the rules, and some coaches very clearly don't care. In fact, actively like despise it and are working in against what the system is supposed to be. I mean, that's where like the injury faking stuff came from eventually. Like, was other coaches. I think that's where most of these things are going to start. Those have been good rules this year, I think. By the way, the faking injury stuff to slow down play. I think it generally has had a positive impact overall. All right, we'll get out of our underdog picks here, and I think Chris, you have some betting picks for us, maybe?
Yes, I do, but let me make sure that the lines haven't moved since I wrote them down.
While you check the line real quick, we have a question here. Jupiter says, I have a CFF starts a question. Start one of Trey Wisner, Wayshawn Parker, or Jakarian Turner. I like Turner there.
I do too.
Actually, by like a decent amount.
I think I do too. Even if Reed does play, he's questionable, according to the injury report there. But even if Reed does play, I think Turner gives you a very similar like floor as Wisner and Parker. Like Wisner just hasn't been very good, and Utah just does not want to give Parker the ball that much. It's kind of annoying. But I think Turner's the ceiling play for sure, but even gives you a nice floor.
Pitt fans are thinking that Reed is out, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
Are you said Pitt fan?
I am a Pitt fan, but other Pitt fan, they're like a lot of like the Pitt.
Oh, the other, yeah, all the
folks
other
are
Pitt fans.
saying that
The other two Pitt
all
fans?
4 of us. Yeah.
You don't know them. They just go to.
I
a
knew it
different
was
school.
coming, Colin. You can only be nice to me for so long.
Hey, I'm a Mason Hinesville fan, not a Pitt fan.
All right, Chris. What are we looking at from a betting perspective today?
All right, let's start in Texas Vanderbilt. Sounds like Archer's going to go. I don't really care about that aspect because I think the totals I wouldn't say it's priced appropriately. I still think it's a little high, but I think the biggest question for me comes down to the Vanderbilt offense. So I like the Vanderbilt team total under 21.5. They should have lost that game to Missouri and would have lost the game to Missouri if Pribula didn't get hurt, I think. They had 2% success rate, which is horrendous, a 33rd percentile, second percentile success rate, 33rd percentile EPA per play. So the offense wasn't generating explosives, and they couldn't get movement down and down. They looked like they got beat up in the trenches. And I think Texas has better defensive front than Missouri does. That scares me. I think that Vanderbilt could still win this game with like 17 or 21 points. I just don't see a path to 24, 27, 28. So I like the Commodores team total under. That's priced at like 115 across the board for the most part. And then speaking of Pitt, let's see, is 14.5 still out there? I kind of like Stanford this week. We've been glazing Heinkel a lot, and I think Heinkel's good. This is such like a classic Nard Dog letdown spot for the Panthers. Like they're playing real well, but now they're going across the country. They've played a lot of football. It hasn't always been like really, really great football. The offense is like pretty one-dimensional. They beat up on a bad NC State team, but like Syracuse kept it within 17, and I think Stanford right now is playing better than Syracuse did. So Stanford is getting like a little bit of spunk. I'm not saying that they're going to win this game, but like asking them to keep within 2 touchdowns, I kind of like the Cardinal. Sorry.
Also, we've seen that when I declare myself a fan of someone or something, they then come out and crap the bed. So, take that for what that's worth.
Pitt's played so much football. Like they haven't have they had a bye in the last 5 games? Like they played 5 straight. Like, and
I mean, they've played 8. They're 6-2. There's not a lot of 8 result teams in the country. Yeah.
It's a tough spot to travel all the way across the country for Pitt. Like I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but I do see a path to them like sleepwalking through it.
Yeah, true freshman on the road, all that jazz. I will say I
played
feel
okay too. Like this is not just Pitt. Like Stanford's actually been kind of decent.
I kind of feel better about teams going East Coast to West Coast than vice versa. Just the time difference. You're not necessarily starting earlier than you would, which I think is what throws a lot of these guys off. Is just like the change in the rhythm of the day.
That's Lincoln Riley. What is he like? 1 in 17 traveling West Coast or West Coast East Coast?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it is. It's Lincoln Riley's been especially bad at it, but I think it's not necessarily a uniquely Lincoln Riley thing. So, all right, is that your last one there, Chris?
I give you a little extra one for plus money. I may tweet this in the Discord, add this to the Discord too. Fernando Mendoza over 2.5 passing touchdowns at plus 135. I think they score a lot of points this week. I think they can score on the Maryland secondary. At no point whatsoever through the Signetti Indiana tenure have they let their foot off the gas. And like they don't have to score a lot of points because I think the rest of the schedule is winnable. Like I think they're going to the playoff at this point. It's just now there's Heisman Mendoza talk. Like I think that he's going to pad Mendoza's stats. So like you're getting plus money here on a number that I think should be even money. So like plus 135 when it should be minus 110, you're getting 45 cents. Like that's pretty good value, I think. So like I think the L is kind of interesting as well, which is 3 or more, probably like 140.
45 cents is what I have in my bank account this morning, so that's not a bad number as far as I'm concerned. I'll tell you that right now. All right, no Devi segment this week. Devi team is taking a well-deserved rest. So let's hop right into some of the injury roundup stuff that we have seen floating around or already discussed here today. I think one of the interesting things that you mentioned there, Chris, is Arch was cleared. So that's, I would have, if he's been cleared, he's going to play. I don't think they want to roll Matt Caldwell out there. So we have that one here this morning. Cade Klubnik, we had mentioned earlier, is available. So again, you would presume that he is going to be the starter there for them. Talk to me about Bryson Washington, not an availability report. That's interesting. I mean, does that matter at this point?
What? I don't know. Like
They're going to roll him out.
Yeah, but like, what does that mean?
It's a good question.
Like,
that's why I was asking. Does it
He's
doesn't
not
matter?
even questionable. It means he's definitely out there.
Yeah, for sure. But like, do you trust Bryson Washington to start this week?
No, I wouldn't
I
play.
almost took his line is pretty low this week.
It is pretty low. I thought about it too.
Like 40 something yards, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really thinking about that. I think he's going to get that.
Hold on. I need to do the math on it real quick before I say that out loud.
And they had a bye last week, I think, right?
No.
Or no, they played TC.
They were terrible last
ago,
week.
I think.
Yeah, they got smoked.
Yeah. He's been hurt a lot, and even when he hasn't been hurt, like he hasn't been that good. He hasn't gone over 100 yards since week 4? 11 for 23, 7 for 23, 9 for 65. Like that's good efficiency, but like I guess got a passing touchdown that week, which is part of his repertoire. I don't know. I just don't. I find him a player that's very difficult to trust.
He's out there,
but it sounds like he's playing. I don't personally want to play him though. I think I actually ranked Michael Turner above him this week because how banged up was he last week? I don't know, but Turner got the run and like looked better. I know he was hurt. I just don't know how hurt.
And if he's getting out there, like I don't know how much better you get with a week, throughout the week. Like you played last week, you're healthier this week. Kind of doubt that.
So hold on. This is great radio. All right. Bryson Washington alt are very interesting. It's like plus 750 at some spots for 100 yards. Like if you told me Bryson Washington had like 150 yards today, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I just think that is mispriced in the market. Like I think the variance in Bryson Washington's outcome is he's really bad or really good, and like the tails on both are quite large. And I think that there's a world where he has like 150 yards today. So like I don't think pricing it at like 750 is like a bad like long shot to take today. I don't know.
We just got a little bit of news. Jordan Tyson is officially out this week. Officially out
For the rest of the season?
It just says ruled as officially out.
That would not shock me if that's what we come to eventually. I mean, if you're him, is there really any reason to play?
No, you've done enough.
Yeah. So, totally agree there. Some other names that we've just been discussing here this morning. Justice Haynes. I mean, it sounds like probably not. So Jordan Marshall, I'd rule him out there and be very, very comfortable doing that. Desmond Reed and Kenny Johnson are both questionable. For what it's worth, I would assume Des Reed doesn't play, and I think Kenny Johnson probably will. Just based on
vibes around Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Have you seen either of them walking around Pittsburgh lately?
No, which is weird because usually I see them just walking around everywhere. Small town feel out here in Pittsburgh. So you sit down on the incline, and you look over, and it's Kenny Johnson.
They play at Heinz Field, right?
They do, yeah. Well,
It's
Acrisure Stadium now, but
Mhm.
yes, everyone still calls it Heinz Field.
Is the ketchup bottle still there? Was there ever a ketchup bottle?
No, they
Did I
took the
make that
ketchup
up?
bottle down, I believe. So there were discussions about it staying up. I actually haven't been to a game at all this year, so I could be
nice.
very
Out of
wrong on that.
protest.
But I think that was like a big thing when they were taking it down. Everybody was really, really upset about it. So,
Did you not attend out of protest because they took it down?
I did it because I don't have any times on the weekends to go to games, unfortunately, more. So
you're in the same city as Heisman Heinkel, and you can't even make it over to the game. Colin would be there. Colin would be there probably camping out the night before.
I
first guy.
almost drove to Stanford this weekend.
road trip.
Yeah, almost. If I could have gotten away with it from my wife.
You can come out here to Pittsburgh next weekend, Colin, and play, and watch them play, or whenever they play next year at home. I always have a room for you here at my house.
Don't write checks that you're
The bathroom.
you can't
sleep in the bathroom. You can sleep in the tub.
Ooh.
I'm in an unfinished basement.
No, I'm recording.
It's cold in Pittsburgh right now.
I'm in the basement. We do have a Pittsburgh potty for if anybody not familiar with Pittsburgh potty. It's like a very classic Pittsburgh thing. It's just like a toilet in the basement. Very, very weird.
In the middle of like an unfinished room, right?
It's some of them are like just like in the middle of a room. Ours is like actually like we have like a laundry area and it's like off in the corner. But yeah, it's a very, very weirdly Pittsburgh thing. Yeah, the more you know. I hope everybody learned something here this morning. All right, let's might as well just get right into our game picks here for the week.
We got one more. We got one more question.
Oh yeah, drop it on here. Let's see.
From Bozo the Clown?
Yeah, from Bozo the Clown.
Is there... Oh, hey Bozo. Tate or Barcate?
That's a pretty interesting one. Because I think
it's like to be or not to be. To Tate or to Barcate? I don't know.
I think I would go Barcate. I think the floor is pretty high for Tate, for sure. But like, I think the game script and the usage lead Barcate. That's a really good question because I think those players, like in my head, are very, very close. I don't think you can go wrong.
I think I would lean Barcate over Tate.
Barcate's been good, man.
I don't think it's
Ohio
bad.
State
I don't think it's bad.
does a little run up the old score this weekend.
Watch out, man. Penn State coming off a bye week. Watch out.
Isn't the interim what's his name? The defense coordinator?
Terry Smith. He was the defensive back.
Oh no.
DB coach.
Oh, who's the defense coordinator?
Jim Knowles.
Yo mom.
Yeah, I bet they
Ohio
ran it up
State.
with Jim Knowles.
Or
would
does Jim
not
Knowles
be
know how to shut him down?
I don't know. I think there's some bad blood there though, right? Like I don't think
Yes.
that was a very friendly departure. So I don't know if Ohio State could run it up. I can see that.
Just think there's a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we just got a little bit of other news here. Jalen Kitten is going to get the start for you.
Oh, Ryder Burton. If you were playing Ryder Burton, get him out of your lineup.
Pull him.
But now you get to start alleged sex pest Jalen Kitna. So
Okay, to be fair, he's not alleged. He took a plea deal, so you don't have to use alleged here. Plea deal taker, Jalen Kitna.
Okay. All right. Let's get to some game picks before we get sued. Vandy, Texas. There's not a lot of ranked matchups this week. Jim says any update on Ian Strong. May as well discuss that here now while we're here. As of 25 minutes ago, no. But let's see if there's anything else. Ian Strong on field and in uniform for warmups is the closest thing we've got. The guy who said that they didn't see him out there deleted his tweet. So, oh no, he didn't. It just he came on the field after he said that. Guy got a little too excited. He's an Illinois beat writer. I think he was, playing with fire a little bit there.
Before they hatched.
Yeah. So I think Strong will play, whatever that's
I do
worth to
too.
you. All right. Finally, we're getting into the game picks here. Wait, did we get another question? No. Okay. Just making sure. Vanderbilt, Texas. 9, Vanderbilt. That's just so egregious that they're ranked 9th in the country. I'm sorry. It's whoever allowed that. Just, come on, people. Texas 3-point favorites. Arch is playing this week, as we mentioned. He was cleared. Chris, who do you like in this one?
Okay, so this is like the worst team to bet against in like the country over the last
Vandy?
2 years. Yeah.
Texas.
The way that I like to play this game, I mentioned earlier, right? I think the Vandy team total is the way to attack it because I think this game's gonna be probably low scoring, but there's the scenario where Texas and Arch continue some of the momentum that they've had the last couple weeks. I'm going to pick Texas with very little feel for the game itself from a side perspective, just because I think Arch may have found something recently. And I think the defensive line, the defense for Texas is the best unit in the game. So,
yeah, I think that's what it really comes down to for me is this is at Texas, and Texas's defense in the front seven, I think, can hold Vandy and Pavia in check at least about as much as you can. I think they can hold them in check. Arch playing, give me Texas at -3.
I was able to really sit down and watch the Texas-Mississippi State game after the fact this week. I spent a good amount of time watching it because it was such a weird game, and I kind of wanted to get eyeballs and see, was the Arch stuff for real? Was the what was the Wingo performance? There was just a lot of stuff that I wanted to watch. And one of the takeaways that I took away, and then I went and actually checked it this morning just to see if I was on par, and I was. This Texas offense is so horizontal right now. Since earlier in this, they've just completely shifted to a real, because they don't have anybody that really threatens you deep. So I think that the Arch performance was actually, I don't want to call it fraudulent, but statistically, I don't think he was, I wouldn't call it an Arch breakout game last week. I just thought he was fine.
Which is a breakout for him though.
I mean, I actually thought he was legitimately good against Oklahoma and what was a pretty tough matchup. Took care of the ball, didn't make any mistakes, did a really good job with pressure, didn't kill drives with them. I actually thought he was pretty good in that game overall. I didn't think he was bad. He wasn't bad. He was fine in this game too. Just it was striking. It was almost like watching Penn State's offense. We're just they're so vertical, so horizontal. Nothing going deep at all. Nobody that can threaten deep. I think that favors Vandy a little bit, who I think can be beat deep at times. They just haven't played a lot of teams this year that can necessarily pull it off. I like Vandy this week. I think Texas, it's going to be low scoring. I wasn't moved by that Texas performance last week because I went back and watched it again. So maybe if they get down, they'll open it up again because they did that a little bit last week. But it's these teams are just too little too late, man. Just if you think you're a better team, go with tempo. More possessions is better. I don't know that unless they have just no faith in Arch. So I'm picking Vanderbilt.
I think that's fair.
All right. Oklahoma, Tennessee. Tennessee, 2.5-point favorites, 18 Oklahoma, 14 Tennessee. We should mention. Colin, you can go first here.
I'm going to take Tennessee in this one. I think Oklahoma is kind of fraudulent. I think they haven't really beaten that great of a team this year. Mateer, we've talked about a lot about that. He's kind of struggled. I don't know that Oklahoma can hang offensively with Tennessee. I know Oklahoma's defense is good, is really good, but I think Tennessee can score on them. So especially now that this slid under a field goal as of this morning, give me Tennessee -2.5.
So I like Oklahoma at 3, and I know it's not 3, but I don't know what Oklahoma hasn't played anybody, but who has Tennessee played and played well against?
They played pretty well
That's-
against Georgia. I mean, they blew that game at the end, but I thought they played pretty well in that game. At least first half. Second half
First
was,
half, first half they blitzed them, and then the second half they played, I thought, like terrible. I also don't think Georgia defense is all that special this year.
No, it's pretty bad. What's that stat? They only have like one sack from a guy like an edge rusher or D lineman. I thought was like wild. I mean, it's if you watch them, like it's totally like you have no pass rush at all. They have to everything that they're getting on that end of things is, having to blitz and yeah.
And that's the difference, I think, in this game. I think Oklahoma does have a pass rush, and once you get Aguilar flustered, like it's a problem. Like he's just not that good. You keep it in structure, and I think that they can run away with this game. I don't know that they can do that here. I think Oklahoma does enough to be disruptive, and Oklahoma has really not played anybody. I think that's like a totally fair criticism. I just think that nobody that they've played, they've shown me more about pressuring the quarterback than Aguilar has shown me in like some okay, some good to not great games. Like they don't really have an effective run game, really. And what they do in the run game is like either like highly schemed up or just like beating on inferior opponents. Like I don't think that's the case this week. So if like one-dimensional, get pressure on Aguilar, I think Oklahoma wins this game. Or loses by less than 3.
I think the thing that Oklahoma doesn't give up a lot of defense, like big pass explosive plays.
No.
If I'm reading the data correctly, I'm not very smart. I might not be, but it's what the numbers are looking at as I'm staring at them here. And so I think that helps them a lot against the Tennessee team that I think really relies on that. I think they're going to struggle to run the ball like they want to. I think they're going to have to rely on some of those bigger plays, and I do think that they're going to struggle to get them against this Oklahoma defense. It's a really good job just keeping things in front of them. So I'm picking Oklahoma on this one. For what it's worth, I just want the record to reflect that I did pick Oklahoma when it was at 3, and now that it's 2.5. If I don't hit this, I'm going to complain about it going on my permanent record. So just throwing that out.
I also liked Oklahoma at 3 a lot.
The line moved this morning. It moved.
Smart guys, I guess.
23 USC at Nebraska. We've talked a decent amount about this game overall. USC is a 4.5-point favorite. Colin, take it away.
Yeah, I think this is USC. Give me USC here by significantly more than 4.5. I think this is a touchdown, 10 points. I think Nebraska's fraudulent. Nebraska is what's Matt Rule's record against ranked opponents? Like it's just as bad or not worse
than
than
James
Franklin. Just cite that, and it's probably about the same.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. So like I know it's in Nebraska. I know the weather could potentially be a factor here, but I just think USC is going to blow the doors off of them. You could, like I said, you could move this to 6.5.
A little strong.
You can move this to 6.5, and I would take it pretty confidently.
Through the key number of 5.
Yeah. I'm just saying you could move it 2 more points, and I would feel pretty confident here.
Colin, I mean, if you think they're going to blow the doors off them, then what number would you play this up to?
I mean, you can get a juice 9.5.
You're going to take an alt line? Yeah, you're going to go up to 9.5?
8.5, 9.5. I put this one in a parlay earlier, but yeah, I mean, maybe I'll play
money
a
line or like the line?
The line.
So brave.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a juice. I'm gonna play a juice line here. I don't know. We'll see. USC.
So Nebraska has lost 28 straight games against ranked opponents.
No, holy, that is a stat. I mean, not all that's terrible, but holy crap.
They're terrible.
Even like accidentally, you should sneak one in there, like a team that doesn't deserve to be ranked at all because it like, geez, man, that's rough.
Last time they won 2016 against
Temple.
number 22 Oregon. Yeah, so
Basically
we
the same
are
thing, Temple, Oregon.
nearly a decade
I remember
removed.
what it was. Matt Rule's stats go back to Temple. That was the last time he beat a ranked opponent. Sorry.
Yes. Unfortunately, they don't do rankings in the NFL. So this is like a movable force versus what is it? Movable force versus a movable object. I don't remember exactly what it is.
First stoppable object.
A stoppable
Stoppable
force
object, yes.
versus a movable object.
Whatever. My Lincoln Riley traveling across the country. Nebraska terrible against ranked teams. You know, I like USC here too. I do. I'm not that concerned with the travel, and I'm not that concerned with the defense for Nebraska. Like Nebraska should have a couple more losses on this resume. And they got lucky in a few spots where I think if you play that game again, you might not have the same result.
Cincy.
Like Cincinnati's a good example for sure. Cincinnati, I think, is a better team. They let Michigan State hang around a little bit. They let Maryland hang around quite a bit. They got curb stomped by Minnesota a couple weeks ago. Like I just don't think this team is really all that good. And Northwestern played them pretty tight too. Like they came out to a lead and Northwestern hung in there. I think USC. I'm not playing to key number 5, but I do think that I do think that USC can win this game by like a touchdown.
I also have USC, but I just think the confidence that we have in a Lincoln Riley team to do anything in a spot that they probably need to take something away from it is a little alarming. And then maybe we should all reconsider where we're sitting at this particular point on this game. But I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of what you guys were saying. I don't think they're going to blow the doors off them, though, Colin. Again, whatever that means. But
10 points. 10 points.
Okay.
What odds can you get for 10 points?
You check that while we go to the next game here. Cincinnati, Utah. 17 Cincinnati travels out to Utah. It does seem like Devin Dampier is playing this week, although our guy Bird Ficklin filled in really, really well last week. Shout out to Bird. Colin, I guess we'll let you lead this off while Chris is looking up alt lines for you since you're so
I'm gonna bet it after the show. I'm gonna do it. I think Utah is a better team. I don't think they're better by 10 points. And that's really what it comes down to for me. This one I think is inside of a touchdown. I think Utah wins, especially with Dampier back. But I'm going to take Cincy with the line on this one.
I like Cincy here. A lot, actually. The Godfather's playing. I think that makes a huge difference on this for this defensive front. And I think he's been good this season as well. I like Cincinnati above a touchdown or above double digits. I think that's just too aggressive. By the way, plus 150 for USC -9. That's the best number I can get you. I think that's a pretty good price.
There we go. Gonna hit that after the show.
All right. And the Godfather being Dante Corleone, by the way.
Yes.
Cincinnati defensive lineman, for those of us not up to date on that. I didn't know white chocolate for Texas, so I just want to make sure that
Parker Livingstone.
I was unaware until on a recent podcast where somebody asked me about
Jason Williams
turning over in his grave. He's not
not every white guy who is productive could be white chocolate, and I feel like there are a lot of white chocolates.
There's too many.
And it's objectively the worst chocolate. I don't even know why we go there.
It's not even
technically chocolate. Yeah. I think Colin and I just said that at the same time. No, white chocolate is not technically chocolate.
Nope.
Oh, news to me.
Glad you could learn something today. I picked Utah. Navy at North Texas.
G5.
Why not? We're doing the G5 match of the week here. North Texas 6.5 point favorites at home against Navy. I took Navy.
I'm going to take North Texas. I think they're a better team here. The worry is Navy slows this down and maybe North Texas can't run away with it, but with it under a touchdown, give me North
Navy's pace of play isn't terribly slow, is it? So
no,
that's less of a concern for me, for what it's worth.
Navy hits a lot of explosives.
Yeah. And North Texas defensively is not very good either. They got kind of shelled by USF a few weeks ago. No shame in it, but Worth
I
noting.
like North Texas at a touchdown though.
All right, fair enough. Well, thank you to everybody who tuned in for us with us this week. Good luck in all your matchups this week. Hopefully, you walk out of this evening a little richer than you started the day. We'll see you guys next
Follow
week.
me on USC +9 or -9.
USC +9. What kind of number are we getting on that? All right, have a good day, guys.